just when it turns red, you just can't keep going. You have to come to a stop. Matter of fact, there's a sign right here. It says no turn on red. That little sign right
That's in
there.
the next place. But that's not for this light.
Yes, it is. This is a light. That's your light to go southbound. The only reason you have this light is for traffic back here. All three of these lights are for going southbound, and this is southbound.
And that includes going this way?
Yes.
Because I couldn't see that from here. Like, I thought...
It doesn't matter. It's a red light. I mean, you can see a red light.
No, I can see a red light, and I'm thinking I can go. You know what I mean?
You can turn right on red after you come to a complete stop. That's in statute. That should be on that's on the driver's license test. I mean, that's just part of Florida state statute. You have to come to a complete stop before you can turn right on red. But even at this intersection, it goes further. It says no turn on red.
Right, but at that intersection, I thought.
Sure.
Any intersection,
Right.
you have to come to a complete stop where you turn right on red. Yeah.
60 days and 1250.
So it's up to you if you want to, I mean, it's your right to stay and fight it, but
Well, they're just going to present it
to fight it if you want, but if not, you can take what they call summary judgment, and you can get with this lady right here, and they'll give you extra 60 days to pay.
we in church.
But that's up to you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Sir, sorry for the delay. I believe we answered everybody's question. They had the opportunity to see their videos, so I believe we're ready to get started.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. This is the City of Lakeland red light appeal hearing. You are here today because you have chosen to appeal the violation that you received in the mail. As the officer said, I would encourage everyone, if you haven't already done so, to review your video. That is going to constitute the majority, if not all, of the evidence that the city is going to put on to support their claim of a violation. As I stated before, you've chosen the option to contest the violation, and hence you're here. If you're successful, you will have no further obligation. If unsuccessful, you'll be subjected to a fine plus an administrative fee. That fine is dictated in the statutes, and that's $156. The administrative fee,
It's actually $158.
$158, I'm sorry.
Nope, you're fine.
And I'm not attempting to encourage or discourage you. I'm just stating kind of the possible outcomes here today. If you would simply like to request additional time to pay the violation, you can come over here and speak with Ms. Tyson, and that will extend the violation payment date by 60 days to 60 days, and that is a $12.50 administrative fee. My name is Matt Vaughn. I'm an attorney and the hearing officer here today. I'm not a judge like you would see a judge down in Bartow. This is an administrative hearing. The issue here today is going to be whether an infraction occurred. Did you run the red light according to the camera footage that we have? My job is to review the evidence and facts and apply the law to the facts. Generally, the violations we see are broken down into three categories. One is a straight through, one is a left on red, and one is a right on red. The straight throughs and left on reds are subject only to certain enumerated statutory exceptions. There is more discretion with the right on red violation, and that is dictated by the careful and prudent standard. So for these violations, first of all, we will find out whether there was a violation. And second, if there was a violation, if there was no violation, you walk away. Second, if there was a violation, we will determine, or I will determine whether it was justified, and again, there's a broader defense for right-hand turn. Left-hand turns and straightforwards are tough cases, generally. So here today, I don't know if anyone here is going to make arguments about the constitutionality of the standard, whether they think it's legal, or of the statute, whether they think it's legal or not. If you do, you're welcome to come make it. I can't make any decisions on whether those arguments are good or not. No power to rule, and that's something you're going to have to take to a circuit judge. So the statutory fine, as we stated, is $158. The statutes also allow a maximum administrative fee of up to $250, but the city of Lakeland generally just charges $100 of that. These are not moving violations, so these are a civil fine. There should be no points assessed to your license, and should not have an effect on your insurance or driver's license. What it will affect is your ability to pay to re-register your vehicle when the time comes. There are no transfers of liability during the hearing. When you got your violation, if you read it, and transfers of liability, I mean someone else was in the custody, care, and control of the car. So I wasn't driving, basically. You had the opportunity to submit an affidavit prior to this hearing, so there are no transfer of liability arguments during the hearing. When you once you receive the violation, you should have filed that affidavit. Any arguments today that you didn't receive proper notice of a violation are waived once you elect to appeal the violation, and that's dictated in the statute. And you can. And one thing I want to make clear, you can appeal anything found here today to the circuit court. So regardless of the outcome, you can go to the circuit court, and if you do that, I would recommend to seek legal advice. So the format of the hearing is the city will generally go first. The officers will put up whatever evidence they have of the violation. That will consist of photos, videos, or other information that they have. After the city presents, you are free to argue your case and cross-examine the officers. You're welcome to ask them questions, and then you can proceed with your case. The formal rules of evidence do not apply, so the formal rules of evidence are the rules of evidence you would generally use in a court down in Bartow. This is an administrative hearing, so there is a little more leeway, most notably with something called hearsay, but due process considerations do dictate that the hearing be run in a fair and equitable manner here today. At this point, everyone needs to decide whether they want to continue. If you do continue, once everybody's sworn in, and then you elect not to continue, there will be a $50 a $50 cancellation fee. So once everybody's sworn in, that's kind of where you're at. You have to proceed with your case. You have to file the cancellation fee. At this point, you can just elect to extend the payment if you pay the $12.50 administrative fee, or elect summary. It's called summary disposition. But unless anybody does not want to proceed, we can go ahead and swear everybody in.
Okay, please stand and raise your right hand. Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes,
I do.
We call the first case.
All right, good morning, sir. With your permission, I'm just going to take a brief moment and explain the process that we go through to approve a red light camera violation. When we get the violations into our office, we will look at the video usually several times, and if it's a straight through or left turn or U-turn, we'll play the video and stop it exactly when the light turns red. And then we look at the relationship between the front of your vehicle and the stop bar. Now, if you're before the stop bar on a straight through, left turn, or U-turn against a red traffic signal, you would get a citation. On right turn on red, though, we look at several other factors. The first thing we look at on a right on red is the approach speed. We give them up to 15 miles an hour. And now it would be, they call it the California roll. So you can come up to the red light if you're 15 miles an hour or less. Once you go beyond that, then there's a question of whether or not you could react in time. Because at 15 miles an hour, you're going to be traveling 21.9 feet per second. That's every second. And a person who's in good health during the daytime, the average reaction time is 1.6 seconds. So if you're traveling more than 15 miles an hour or 21.9 feet per second, and it takes you 1.6 seconds to react, that car is going to travel approximately 35 feet before you can react. So once you go over 15 miles an hour, the chances are we're going to approve the right on red. We also look at other factors. You know, is there pedestrians or bicycle in view of the camera? What do the weather conditions look like? There's certain locations that I personally are familiar with, like up on Soakham Loop, where it's the corner of McDonald's restaurant, and there's quite a bit of foot traffic and vehicle traffic coming in and out of that business. So we'll look at several things on a right-hand turn, not just the approach speed. And with that, sir, I'll go ahead and call the first case. The last name is Petrovics, a case ending in 129566. Yes, sir. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Close it up.
Okay. All right, sir, this violation occurred on August 26, 2020 at 4:02 p.m. The vehicle was a 2000 Dodge maroon in color, bearing a Florida tag of India Alpha Lima Yankee 12. That's IALY12. The first photograph that you see up here now is a close-up of the tag, showing that Florida tag. The second one is going to show you quite a bit of information as I pull it up. Okay, it shows you the intersection is northbound Bartow Road at North Crystal Lake. It shows that the vehicle speed was at 38 miles per hour. The light was yellow for 4.8 seconds, and then it was red for an additional 1.3. Now, if you notice in this photograph that the road surfaces are pretty wet. We're going to go ahead and go to the video. And again, we're going to play the video, and then we'll stop it right when the light turns red. All right, the light right now is red, and the vehicle is not even in view of the camera yet. We'll go ahead and continue the video, and you'll see the red vehicle, the maroon van goes through the intersection. We'll play it one more time from the beginning, and we'll just let it go all the way through this time. The light's yellow, turns red, and then the vehicle comes through. And that's all I have, sir.
And your name is Polonis, is that right?
Petrovich.
Petrovich
Attila.
Attila. Okay, I have this as a summary. Guess that's not right. Okay, so at this point in my opening, you're welcome. The second step is you're welcome to ask the officer questions if you want to, and if you don't have any questions, you can proceed with your own case.
All I really have to say is it was raining. I was below the speed limit in a right lane where there's a trough from tires, trucks. It was full of water. I applied my brakes. I hydroplaned right through the intersection. I could not stop. There was so much water there. You can see it in the video. Water's going everywhere. I could not stop.
Okay.
I hydroplaned right through the thing. I had enough time to react to the light, but I could not stop. There was so much water on the road.
Okay.
On the roadway.
This is a straight through. So if you listen to my opening remarks, I have very little discretion with straight throughs. There's only certain exceptions, all of which really have to do with law enforcement waving you through or getting out of the way of an emergency vehicle or a funeral procession or something like that. But usually there's going to be an emergency vehicle there. I don't know about the hydroplaning. What I saw is it looked like you had pretty good control of the car. The car wasn't like spinning or anything like that.
No, but there's a good trough there for both tires, and it was full of water. You can see how much water was dispersed as I was entering the intersection.
Sure,
I
so
tried to stop. I couldn't. I hydroplaned. And
Right,
I've got
so-
good tires and good brakes.
that tells me that maybe you were going a little fast for the conditions, I don't know. But, you know,
Below the speed limit anyway.
yeah, so with a straight through, I have very, very little discretion. I saw the video play several times. It looks like the car beside you didn't have any problems
That's
stopping.
because there's no trough on the left lane. The
Yeah.
right lane's where all the trucks are, and there's big divot in both of those tire marks, or where the tires are.
Okay, well, I'm going to uphold the violation. That is a $158 statutory fine and $100 administrative fee payable within 30 days. The straight-throughs are very difficult cases.
So it's 158 plus $100, $258?
258, that's right.
Holy mackerel. Wow.
All right, sir, the next case we're going to call is Robert David Solis. It's case ending in 129053. Sales.
That's all they give.
What's the last?
Last name spelled Sayles. First name Robert David. Should be on the top of page 4.
Good morning.
Good morning. So the officer's going to go first, and then you'll have the chance to what we call cross-examine him or ask him questions second. Okay?
All right, sir, violation occurred August 25th, 2020 at 4:14 p.m. The vehicle was a 2005 Honda Silver in color, bearing a Florida tag of Zebra 397 Charlie Mike. That's Z397CM. The first photograph shows that silver Honda bearing that Florida tag. We're going to go to the second image. It shows the intersection was northbound Solcrum Loop at East Daltrey. The vehicles, this is a right turn violation. The vehicle's approach speed to the right turn was at 19 miles per hour. The light was yellow for 4.9 seconds, and then it was red for an additional 0.9. We're going to go ahead and show the video. We'll play it and then stop it when the light turns red, and then we'll continue it, and then we'll play it again completely through. The light's yellow, turns red, and the vehicle is definitely before the stop bar. Continue it. There's no stop, and his approach speed was at 19. We'll play it one more time from the beginning, completely through. Light yellow, turns red, and the vehicle continues. Now, this intersection here where you see the vehicle exiting, this is a McDonald's restaurant, and there's usually a lot of pedestrian traffic and a lot of vehicles coming and going from that business. That's all I have, sir.
You can ask the officer questions if you want, and if you have no questions, you can proceed with your own case.
I would ask that you speak a little bit louder because I have a hearing aid.
Okay.
And I do have some documentation here which I'd like to show you. May I approach?
Probably not. What kind of documentation are we talking about?
I'll let the officer here
Okay.
show you.
We should be able to put it up on the screen.
Emergency vehicle. When I was coming back from the post office this way, this way, he pulled right up behind me and he's got his wigwags on. Okay. I've driven truck for many years, and one of the things we know is stay away from the vehicle that's either stopped or has lights displayed. So I understand.
Sir, if you're going to testify, you have to come to the microphone.
Yeah. So explain to us what this document is.
And I'll show it to him.
Okay. I was on my way back from the post office here on Lakeland Hills Boulevard, and I was going up Solcrum Loop Road. When I was coming up to Combi Road, there was an emergency vehicle that was approximately into the intersection, but not quite. He followed in close behind me, and he had his wigwag lights on, not the whole Christmas tree, but just the headlights. So I knew he was in a hurry to go someplace, and I continued on up Soakham Loop Road, and I saw the light changing, and I've driven truck for many years, and one of the things that you learn and one of the laws that you have to obey is avoiding a vehicle stopped on the side of the road or an emergency vehicle. Move over a lane or slow down. In this case, I had no choice to move over a lane because I was in the right-hand lane. I live off of that road, so I make that turn many, many times during the course of a year. He was following me at the point when he was close enough, I said, I'm going to go around the corner to let him clear straight through. And I did. And I have no doubt about it. I went through the red light. I admit that. When I got around the corner, I looked in my rearview mirror to see if he continued up Soakham Loop, and he did not. And I wondered where the heck he went. So as I'm going east on Walt Loop Road, I looked out my mirror, my right side, and I see him. He had pulled in right there by the bank. There's a driveway that goes in to the shopping center and also one that comes back out onto Soakham Loop. He had pulled in and he was starting to turn south to head down towards Publix Market. So I knew whatever it was, he had to get in there in a hurry. That's my rationale. That's my reasoning. I thought I did the right thing. I didn't want to hold him up or impede his traffic.
I mean, the only issue I have, you first of all, you went through the intersection pretty fast. So, and generally when I look at lights changing, so I'm looking at a light changing from yellow to red and somebody's in a hurry to get around trying to beat the light, that's generally what happens. You know,
I agree with you.
Sometimes
I agree with you. I was exceeding a little bit. However, my impetus for that was to get out of his way.
And then if you look at the car behind you, they did it correctly. So the black car, and we can replay it for you, but you know, they were just behind you, so there wasn't an emergency vehicle behind you. And I don't know if you mean the emergency vehicle pulled in where this car is waiting in the driveway, but see this guy, the car right there did it correctly. So he didn't completely stop, but he slowed. This is what we call a California stop, and that's enough probably to trigger careful and prudent.
Obviously, the reason we don't see the emergency vehicle is he pulled into the shopping center driveway prior to your camera pole.
Mm-hmm. So, and the only, you know, if he was behind you, that's what makes these cameras so valuable, is we can kind of see the situation occurring. And if he was behind you, I would say, you know, okay, and he had his lights on and there was some sort of emergency. And you can usually see lights, especially in good conditions like this, reflected in windows in the cars around, if that's the case. But I don't see any mention of emergency vehicle, and you know, I think you did a good job presenting your case, but I don't have any evidence that there was any sort of emergency around the area where you were at. So to use the emergency vehicle exceptions is a tough argument in this case. You know, again, the best evidence is, you know, you see him in the camera shots.
Is a judgment on my part. Perhaps it was, no doubt about it. It was wrong at this point in time. This is the first time I've ever been in traffic court in 64 years of driving.
Yeah, okay.
I have a driving record here if you'd like to also see that.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't really, play it one more time. I didn't really see any oh, okay. Is that...
The red dots is his vehicles, and the black dot is the emergency vehicle pulled into this parking lot here, and he continued, and the red light camera is up at this corner.
Okay. Let's see. So he pulled off behind you, pretty significant.
Affirmative.
So that looks like the McDonald's drive-through that this car is sitting at. You know, 19 miles an hour. Let me look at it one more time. You know, you didn't really slow down a whole lot. It looked to me.
You want to show them that or not?
No.
Okay.
You know, with the light changing like it was, it's usually an attempt to beat the light.
I'm sorry.
With the light changing like it was from yellow to red, you know, when you approached, it was yellow and then it turned to red. It's usually a result of trying to beat the light and beat the traffic coming across. So in this particular case, with that kind of speed going through the intersection, and you know, no really attempt to come to any sort of slowdown or stop, I'm going to have to uphold this particular violation, especially at an intersection where there's a lot of foot traffic at the McDonald's sitting right there on the corner. And there's, the car directly behind you was able to make, a good attempt at a stop.
So if I understand you, my judgment was the wrong judgment to make.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I'm going to uphold this particular violation. It's a $158 fine and a $100 administrative fee, and that's payable within 30 days.
Okay, can I pay that today?
You'll get some in the mail.
You can't pay it today.
Yeah, so we have to enter the rulings, and then it'll come in the mail, and then you can just pay
Okay.
it that way.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, you don't have to sign anything, you'll
Yes,
get
sir.
an order in the mail.
All right, next case, the last name Simon, first name Francisca, case ending in 126026.
Good morning.
Morning.
So, as you probably saw in the previous hearings, the officer is going to show the video and whatever evidence they have, and then you're going to have the opportunity to ask questions, and then you can put on your own case, okay?
Okay.
All right, sir, violation occurred August 20th, 2020 at 11:18 a.m. The vehicle was a 2019 Hyundai, beige in color, bearing a Florida tag of November X-ray Charlie Delta 69. That's NXCD69. The first photo that you see up there is a photo of that Florida tag on that silver Hyundai. And then we're going to go to the second photo. As I pull it up. The second photo up in the header gives you a lot of the information. The intersection was southbound Cleveland Heights at East Edgewood Drive. The light was yellow for 4.1 seconds, and then it was red for an additional 0.4. The vehicle speed was at 19 miles an hour, and this is a right turn violation. And the reason for the violation was because the approach speed was at that high, at 19. We're going to go ahead and show the video. The light's green, turns yellow, and it's red. And here you can see that the light is red. The vehicle is before the stop bar. We'll continue it, and the vehicle makes the turn. Now we're going to play it one more time from the beginning, and we'll play it all the way through. And that's all I have, Your Honor.
And so, Ms. Simon, you can ask the officer questions at this point if you would like.
How long did you say the light was red? Was it 0.4?
Okay, it was red for 0.4. It was yellow first for 4.1, and then after the yellow of 4.1, then it was red for an additional 0.4.
Okay. So basically it was like a split-second decision to turn right on red, and I had not seen a no turn on red. So I just thought I was kind of clear to go. That's all I can really say. Because I was turning right, thought I was cool.
And what does that sign, is this the particular intersection?
Yes, that sign up there says no right on red.
Yeah, so that sign says no right on red.
Well, I couldn't see that from there because it was like the next light thingy. I was looking at that, and I was.
At this particular, I knew that this was the one it was at, and with this, even a right on red is more akin to a straight through because you're not even allowed to turn right on red at this particular intersection. It says no right. That sign says no right on red. So the Cleveland Heights. Yeah, see that sign right by the yellow light turning? That says no right on red.
Well, now I see that. I hadn't seen that.
Yeah, so you're not even allowed to turn right on red. So this is one I'm going to have to uphold. It's more like a straight through. Because even if it was careful and prudent, which it looked a lot like the gentleman that went ahead of you, they're both the same speed, both no real attempt to stop anyway. But regardless of that, it says no right on red. So I'm going to have to uphold it. I don't really have discretion. Because you're not allowed to turn right on red. So just keep that in mind if you go back to that particular intersection, you can't turn right. And there is that sign right by the light, so, it is a $158 statutory fine, $100 administrative fee payable within 30 days.
All right.
Yeah, they'll send you something in the mail. Yeah.
And you just heard his ruling in the last two with his wife.
Sir, I did not have a chance to speak with Mr. Hezekiah.
Okay,
So
yeah, sure,
At least giving him the same brief I gave the others.
sure, so, yeah, go ahead.
Are you here for red light? Yes. Come over here for a second, please. She has a student late. What's your last name?
Jacoby.
Will you stand right here for me, please? That's with a J?
Yes.
Cassandra?
Yes.
Okay. Have you seen her video?
Yes.
Okay, you have any questions?
Yes, it looked green to me, and I called Arizona, and a nice lady named Erica said it looked green to her, too. I was working for the U.S. Census, and usually extremely careful. And even that person in Arizona recommended that. And it was at 1.5 feet. Straight through.
Okay, you're driving on Ford Explorer?
Right.
Okay, here's the first, you can probably see it.
Oh,
There. Here's the first, still photo.
How come it's
The
so
light's
dark?
red.
You stop first,
The light's
then you
red.
And I'm stopped, right?
No, this is just
Number
a
one,
still
you didn't
photo.
stop.
Oh.
Number
Yeah.
two, you.
It's just showing that when the light was red, that you were behind the white stop bar. Right here. Okay? The next one shows the light's red and you went into the intersection. I'll show you the video.
Or you can take some judgment.
How come we so green?
I'm not sure.
Come up,
But here, it's green here.
Green there.
Sir, I would recommend that you give him the opportunity to take summary judgment.
So it's.
Okay, yeah, because we didn't get the briefing before, I'm not gonna apply the $50 fee to you because you didn't have the opportunity everybody else had, so.
Thank you, sir.
And then I'm gonna go to my next frame.
Is that him?
Hezekiah.
So it's red now.
I
Okay.
just need your signature and your phone number.
I'll play it. I won't stop it, I'll just play it. Green, yellow, and then it goes to red.
So it's.
Okay,
I'm
you'll get an
going
order in the
through
mail.
yellow.
So after these are put in today, you'll get a new order in the mail. Okay, that's it. Have a great day.
Watch, I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna pause it when it turns red and see where your vehicle is, okay?
See, it's yellow.
Uh-huh.
Now, is it red?
Red.
It's red now. Now we look at the front of your vehicle, and if you're before the stop bar, then you're gonna get a red light camera ticket. What was the speed on it?
42
Okay.
and 45.
Yeah, the speed is appropriate, but you're just, it turned red before you got to the stop bar. So you came in late also, ma'am?
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, what was your last name?
Jacoby.
Jacoby.
I parked on the wrong side of the building and had to walk all the way around.
I'm gonna play it at quarter speed, so I slow it way down for you. Now watch. See,
That looks orange.
there's no orange.
I mean,
there.
yellow. That looks yellow.
Okay. I'm gonna replay it.
That's green. That's yellow.
Yellow.
And there it
It's
changed.
red.
I see it
See where
change.
your vehicle is?
Yes, yes.
And I just stopped it. Now I'm
You
gonna
can blow
continue,
it.
I'm
You
gonna
can blow-
continue
blow it
playing
up.
it. And you go through it.
Ma'am, you have one of two choices. It's your right to stay and fight it if you wish so. You can speak to the hearing officer, or you can take summary judgment. You take the summary judgment, you'll get something in the mail, you're gonna pay the $158 plus a $12.50 administrative fee.
And what's the alternative?
Is go before the hearing officer, present your case. If you win, you pay nothing. But if you lose, chances are he's gonna add a court cost to it.
And there's no wiggle room for Christmas miracles or anything, since I was working for the U.S. Census, putting my life on the line
Well,
as an
thing is,
enumerator.
we have to be consistent with everybody.
I understand. So if I don't
Would it
proceed,
make you feel better if I told you I rode a police officer last week who ran a light in a marked vehicle?
yeah,
I did.
well, the red lights don't make me, the cameras don't make me feel better.
Folks, are you here for red light cameras?
Yeah, we're late.
Come on down and get checked in, please.
So the alternative is I pay the $50 instead of the $100?
No.
No.
158.
So the alternative is I just don't go before, I just don't speak.
You do that, or you can go before the magistrate.
Yeah, well, as I've seen, there's no wiggle room, there's no Christmas
So if you
miracle
want
or,
to take summary judgment, then see this lady right here.
okay?
Give that to me now.
I just need your signature and your phone number.
And what's your name, ma'am?
Jacoby is the last name.
Wonder why the woman in Arizona said she thought it was green too.
What I told
She
everybody
watched it.
before you
Don't know.
is
It's crazy.
you have a right to present your case in front of the magistrate. You're gonna testify against me. I'm gonna testify against you. And
Okay, you'll get an order in the mail telling you your new due date and your new amount.
Yours is a right turn. And the reason you got to take it, number one, you're supposed to come to a complete stop before you turn. And you were over 15 miles an hour. You were, we give them what they call California roll, up to 15. So once you go over 15, and here's the reason why, is because of reaction time. Somebody who's in good health during the daytime takes them about 1.6 seconds to react. If you're traveling 15 miles an hour, you're going to be moving 21.9 feet per second. So at 18 miles an hour, you're going to be moving faster than that.
How fast are we going?
18.
Okay.
Now, you have one choice. You can present your case to the magistrate, and that's your right.
Yeah, I want to do that. Or what?
Or you could take summary judgment. Basically says, I don't want to fight it, I'm not pleading guilty. What they'll do is they will send you something in the mail, you'll pay the $158 plus the $12.50 administrative fee. You go before the magistrate, though, you pay the $158, that's if you don't win, he's more than likely going to add $100.
Oh, because it says 50.
No.
Has any of y'all tickets?
That's if you cancel.
Have they
If
slowed down
you
doing that?
ask for a hearing and then you cancel.
It's like they increased.
Because you're more than welcome to present your case if you want.
Okay.
If you lose. More than likely, that's the court cost, or you can take something.
Right now, and I have it down here.
Now, the big thing about this statute,
These are the only like
there's no point in it. And there's language in the statute that says your insurance company from increasing your rate in terms of the rate.
But I just have to focus.
But it's a right, it's a rolling right turn, it's not a red light.
Yeah.
Well, the light was red.
Going through them.
Yeah, but it's not.
I figured they would have slowed down, but I
Well,
guess
you put it
not.
right out there. And we can do that.
Not at all.
But by statute, you're supposed to
And
come
we've seen a lot of multiples,
before you.
lots of multiples.
And I haven't seen your video, you wouldn't be on the list if you did stop. If you would have stopped and then turned red, you wouldn't be on this list.
So you're picking, choosing how you enforce the law.
No, everybody who turns right, who's greater than 15 miles an hour, is gonna get a red light camera.
There's no statute.
316.008.
Says 15 miles an hour.
No. The reason we do that,
Does it say 15 miles an hour?
no, it says if it's safe and prudent.
It says what?
Safe and prudent.
Careful and prudent.
Careful and prudent.
So yeah, I mean, basically what happens is you have there's three types of violations. You weren't here for my opening.
Okay.
There's straight throughs, left-hand turns.
Somehow we got 10 o'clock in our mind, I don't know.
Yeah, so there's left-hand turns, straight throughs, and right-hand turns. Left-hand turns and straight throughs, generally, you only have certain statutory exceptions when you do that, right? So, and they deal with emergency vehicles or police waving you through, things like that. Funeral processions. And then right-hand turns, there's something called the careful and prudent standard, and that's judged based on a number of things in the video, such as pedestrian traffic, how heavy the traffic is, the speed that you were just talking about, the speed that you're going through the intersection, whether there was really an attempt to stop or whether you're just trying to beat the light. So there's more discretion on those right-hand turns. So you have if you're found in violation, you're going to have a $158 statutory fine. You can elect to just extend the payment here today because you weren't here earlier, so I'm not going to hold you to the cancellation fee. And so that's $12.50. And that'll extend it to 60 days. You can take summary disposition if you said, hey, I was in the wrong, I don't think I was being careful. That's a $158 statutory fine. And if you elect to proceed, we're going to swear you in, first of all. And then once you're sworn in, if you say, wait a second, I don't want to proceed, there's a $50 cancellation fee. But if you proceed and you win your case, you'll have no obligation. But if you proceed and you lose, we generally assess, the city can assess up to a $250 administrative fee, but we generally hold that to about $100 to $100. And that's all going to be paid within 30 days. I'm not trying to scare you off, but that's just how it works. And so there's a lot of factors that go into it. And I know you were talking about speed, but speed's one of the big things. And, I'm not sure how the city, goes through the cases, but I know that's one thing they look at when deciding whether to issue a violation or not. So you can look at your video if you haven't looked at it. And
We've seen it.
okay.
All right, so it's the choice up to you if you want to present it, or if you want to take.
We'll present.
Okay. So the last name was Barrow?
Yeah, Burrow.
No, they need to wait. This gentleman was, if we can take them second, this gentleman has been waiting for a while.
Oh, he already took summary. He's
Oh,
just
he
watching.
did? Okay, sorry. I just wanted to make sure that he got taken care of.
Matt?
They need to get sworn in.
Yeah, they do
Yeah.
need to
You
swear
want to swear him in?
Who's, I gotta,
He's gonna be the one talking.
okay, raise your right hand.
The vehicle's registered to you, right?
Yes.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
We do.
I do.
You can, right there.
And so what's your last name?
Burrows.
Burrows. And who's the vehicle registered to? You. Okay. Wanda Burrows? Okay.
You ready, sir? Okay. Violation occurred September 9th, 2020 at 9:27 a.m. The vehicle was a 2014 Honda, red in color, bearing a Florida tag of Echo November Papa Mike 80. That's ENPM80. The first photograph we have up on the screen is a close-up of that Florida tag, ENPM80. We're going to go to the second still photograph. Did I wait for it to pull up? Up on top in the header, it'll give you the location. The vehicle was westbound on East Memorial Boulevard at North Massachusetts. The light was yellow for 4.1 seconds, and it was red for 51.7. So the 51.7 seconds indicates the entire approach to this intersection. It has been red for quite a while. The approach speed on the vehicle was at 18 miles per hour. And then we're going to go to the video. We'll play the video a couple of times. First time, we'll go ahead and stop it right when it turns red, and we'll look at the relationship between the front of the vehicle.
It's been red.
Oh, it's red the entire time, so, because it was red for 51.7 seconds. So we'll play it again all the way through. And the reason for the violation was the approach speed was at that point, at 18 miles an hour, and because of reaction time, the person in good health during the daytime is about 1.6 seconds. And if a pedestrian or a bicycle was to step out, there'd be no way that the driver could stop. And that's all I have, sir.
So look at the truck behind you here. So there's your vehicle. And look at the truck kind of behind you. See how, I'm seeing cross traffic. So to me, it looks like you know that cross traffic's about to come and you're trying to beat it. The truck behind you sort of did the right thing, pulled out, saw it coming, and stopped.
He didn't stop.
Did you keep going? Keep playing?
I believe that was the end of.
He came close to a stop anyway.
He rolled right through it.
Oh, but he came almost to a stop. It's what we call a California stop, whereas you rolled through it.
There's a line, missed it.
Is at the end of it. So he's almost at a stop right there. So the format here today, I think you missed it here today too, is the officer goes first, just like what happened, and then you guys actually get an opportunity to ask him questions, okay? And then if you don't have any questions, then you can proceed with your own case.
I don't think we had any questions for the officer, except he wasn't there. So for the record, the officer was not there.
Okay, well, you can ask him any other questions. I realize he wasn't there.
Our accuser was not present. I thought there was a law that said your accuser has to be, you have to be able to confront your accuser.
Well, this is an administrative hearing. This isn't like you're not on trial
It's not a criminal hearing.
Yeah, you're not on trial for any sort of crime. It's just an administrative violation.
Anyway, we've got 5 points. Do you want to hear all 5 of them?
Sure, yeah. You're welcome to present your case. Yes, absolutely.
The most
Why you're
important,
here.
most important one for us is we honestly don't know who was driving. We probably think that I was probably driving. My wife was going to get a COVID test, and we were late for the COVID test, but that's no excuse. I mean,
okay.
Number one, we thought that a ticket has to be given to the person that was driving, not to the car. So that we don't think my wife was driving. We think I was driving.
So and let me go through the statute a little bit. So the statute says that the registered owner of the vehicle is going to get the ticket, okay? And when you get your violation, and you weren't here to listen to this earlier, but when you get your violation, it gives you an opportunity to do what's called a transfer of liability through an affidavit.
Yeah, no, I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, so what you do is before you come to the hearing here today, you get you get a copy of that affidavit and say, so I wasn't in the care, custody, or control of the vehicle. This other person was, and at that point, the ticket will go to the other person, and that affidavit is admissible in the
problem is
hearing.
we're not sure.
So once you show up here today, generally, I mean, sometimes we give second chances to go back and do the affidavit, but generally you've waived it, okay? So that the transfer of liability, I don't know who was driving, doesn't really work because under the statute, it's allowed to go to the registered owner of the vehicle until they say, wait a second, I filed this affidavit and it was this other person, okay?
Okay. Okay, that was one. Number two is, it is keep with the flow of traffic, stay with the flow of traffic. Okay, so if you've ever been on I-4 or on I-95, people are going, we were on I-95 not too long ago. People were going 95 mile an hour. I called.
You think that's okay though? I mean, that's
I don't think that's okay.
Complain about that.
So we called 911. We called 911. We said, these people are running us over. They're going 95 mile an hour. They literally were going 95 miles an hour in a 70 mile an hour zone. We called the police, and then right when I was on the phone with 911, state police car is in the middle of the freeway, appearing not to be doing anything. Anyways, the point is that generally the police are allowing that.
What was your last name?
They're not enforcing the law.
okay. I mean,
And then in this similar situation here, the law is not being enforced. So I went out, we did a survey. We did a survey ourselves yesterday. 10 out of 10 cars did not stop at that line. 10 out of 10.
Well, here's the thing, it's a careful and prudent. Now, if an officer was sitting at that intersection, he's got discretion as to whether, and you didn't stop, he can give you a ticket, right? If you didn't come to a complete stop. But here, we're talking about careful and prudent. That doesn't necessarily mean a complete stop, as long as you did it in a safe manner and you had time to look for pedestrians and things like that. So I don't know what you mean about the law being enforced in the flow of traffic. Flow of traffic is stopped at the red light because it was red for 51 seconds.
So my point is, nobody stops for a right-hand turn anymore. And
Okay,
particularly
well,
particularly at this intersection, they were not stopping for a right-hand turn. So I mean, if you all want to do some public teaching, if you want to teach the people about stopping at a right-hand turn, you need a sign. You don't have a sign.
That's in the statute. You're supposed to stop for a
It
red.
says photo enforced at the intersection, it says photo.
Yeah.
What's that?
I mean, it's the same thing as the speeding on the interstate.
It
You're not
doesn't
supposed
say,
to do it, but
"Please
some
stop."
people do it anyway.
It says come to a full stop. If you want to educate the public, you should have a sign that says.
Well, that's
"Come
the
to
law. You don't need a sign. That's the law. When you go take your driving test, if you look, it says you're supposed to stop before you turn right on red.
Yeah, my point is 100% of the people are not stopping.
Okay.
So people either don't know the law or don't care about the law.
Ignorance of the law is no excuse. That is a maxim.
Okay. The guy behind us didn't stop either. And I really think I started stopping at stoplights.
You went through it at 18 miles an hour. He probably slowed down to about 2 miles an hour, if I had to guess.
Okay, well, the one point is, you look at this cross traffic, I avoided the cross traffic.
Okay. Yeah, you didn't get into an accident. I would agree with that.
No, I know, I don't know if I could tell the cross traffic was about to happen, but I stayed with the flow of traffic and was safely made a right-hand turn, did not interfere with the cross traffic. Okay, so yesterday, 10 out of 10 people rolled right through that same intersection, 10 out of 10.
Okay.
An ambulance came around there, didn't stop.
Well,
I don't know if an ambulance is supposed to stop or not.
okay.
And then one person went right through the red light. Went through the intersection, through the red light to the other side.
They probably got a violation in the mail.
While I was standing there, somebody
They got a violation in the mail if they went straight through on red at this particular intersection.
Anyway, and the thing that calls it a red light violation, I object to that. It's a rolling stop violation.
There was no stop.
We didn't violate the red light.
You didn't stop, though. I mean, that was 18 miles an hour. I mean, that's cooking through that intersection pretty good.
But on my point is, it's different from a red. This guy went right through the intersection, right through the red light. That should be a much different fine than our fine.
Yeah.
Our fine should be for a stop sign, like a rolling red light.
That's something to take up with the legislature. I have no control over who gets fined what.
Okay. Should be a different.
Yeah, and if they
penalty.
write something in the law that says the right-hand turns should pay a lower fine, then great. But that's not what it is.
Well, you have the ability to adjust my fine.
No, I don't.
Okay. Well, anyway. Okay, and then the last one is kind of. Not sure you're gonna like this one, but this is what is on my mind. You're collecting fines in the most depressed area of Lakeland.
Okay.
This is one of the most depressed areas in Lakeland.
This is one of many red light cameras in all areas of town.
Most depressed area in Lakeland.
Okay.
People going to the main hospital district in Lakeland. That's where we were going. So you've got who uses the hospitals, retired people like us.
Okay?
Okay, people that can't afford the fines in the most depressed area of the city. So,
I think most people would use the hospital at some point in their life. I mean, I've used the hospital before.
no, okay, but older people use the hospital a lot more than younger people.
Okay?
So this camera should be removed.
Okay.
This camera is in the most depressed area, going after your retired people. And what comes to my mind, honestly, is Ferguson.
Okay?
So what happened in Ferguson, where the city was fining people that couldn't afford it. People were being fined in the most depressed area of the city. People couldn't afford it, and the fines were doubling up and actually causing them to not be able to drive,
Okay?
causing them to go to jail. And it's a point of social injustice. I think it's a point of social injustice. You're in the most depressed area of the city, in the hospital district. Anyway, so
I would tell you, I think the reason it's there is there are two highways, two very busy roads coming together, and this area was the subject of a lot of accidents.
Yes, sir. I was going to try to interject that. When we first made the decision on which intersections would be covered, we actually have 18 cameras in 11 different intersections. When we looked at historically what was our most dangerous intersection per the number of accidents and or fatalities. And Memorial Boulevard there at Massachusetts and Lakeland Hills was one of those intersections where we worked a lot of accidents.
It's a very, very dangerous intersection.
Okay.
That's the reason it's there. And these are all over town. They're in all areas of town. I mean, they're in Cleveland Heights. They're usually on very busy roads, I will tell you that. So it's not like you're going to see it on some residential road, you know.
my point is
your
this
typical
one should be
neighborhood
removed.
road.
This one should be removed.
Okay, well, that's
In a
something you can
depressed area
petition.
of the city.
I can't remove it. I have no authority whatsoever to remove red light cameras. That's something you have to probably take up either with the state legislature, city council, something like some governing authority. I'm not a governing authority. I'm given a slate of laws, and I'm expected to apply facts to it and decide an outcome. So I'm fixed in what I have. So that's something you're going to have to do through some sort of electoral process, right? So.
Okay, so you're not you, but the city is collecting fines from the most depressed area in the city, from people that they can't afford it. So what Wanda and I do, we support the homeless. By
So what you do is what?
we work with our church,
Okay.
and we help to feed the homeless.
Okay.
And we personally buy McDonald coupons, $5 McDonald coupons, and we hand them out to the people. So the city taking $100 or $150 away from the same people, the Cumbie people. These go to the Cumbie people
Okay.
that badly need it. And so my offer is, forget the fine, and I will buy $200 worth of coupons for the Cumbie people. So I will give money back to the community, $200 McDonald coupons, guaranteed, I swear to God. And you forgive the fine. But I'm not trying to bargain with you, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
The city is taking money from the very people that can't afford it.
Right, but what you have to understand is everybody's got to obey the law. I mean, I think
Yeah,
what you're
I
doing
agree.
is great. I mean, I really commend your efforts. I mean, it sounds like you're doing very well in the community, but at the same time, these cameras are everywhere. Just like the officer said, they're at dangerous intersections. And, you know, I think it's keeping people from dying. I mean,
Yeah, I think
car accidents.
the
So.
people that are going through the red light should get a $500 fine if they're
Well,
going.
it's not a $500 fine, it's $158, but.
No, it's different from what I did. I rolled through a right turn. It was my situation is much less
Right.
dangerous than driving straight through.
Well, I understand that, but again, I'm not the legislature. I can't say, okay, the fine at this for this is going to be at this level, and at this it's going to be that level. I mean, what I would recommend is just following the law when you're driving. I mean, I would make it a habit to stop at red lights like you're supposed to, and look both ways, and then go. But here we give you a little more leeway than in that we don't say you necessarily have to completely stop, but we want to make sure that people are going through red lights in a careful and prudent manner. I mean, that's the standard. And I would, I commend you for what you're doing in the community. I think it's great. I think it sounds like you're a really good influence and doing the right things, but you just, I don't want to see you get into a traffic accident just like I don't want to see anybody else get into a traffic accident because somebody ran a red light.
People don't know the law. I mean, everybody is violating it.
Yeah.
But anyways, $200 of McDonald's coupons for the Cumbie people
Yeah.
versus taking money from the.
Well, I would like it if you would do that anyway, but I'm going to have to uphold the violation. I mean, it's a $158 fine, $100 administrative fee payable within 30 days. But I hope you go out and give away those coupons anyway, just on your own accord.
Sir, that's a mistake. You just made a mistake. That's
Why?
a moral error.
Okay. So payable within 30 days, I mean,
I'll pay you right now.
you'll get something in the mail. You don't have to pay it right now, so you'll get something in the mail.
Can't pay it right now.
Yeah, you can't, we don't have any way to take
Get your
payment.
order in the mail, actually.
You'll get order in the mail.
All right, sir, we're going to go back to page 1. We're going to present this case. The last name is Church, William Clarence. It's case ending in 126554, and we're going to request to present it as a summary judgment due to the COVID. They were unable to be here.
Okay, so they're taking summary disposition?
Yes. And if you'd like, I can go through and present the case, but we're requesting summary judgment on it.
Yeah, if you can just read the case into the record and present the case.
Present?
Present the
Yeah, because they didn't
case,
sign
because
up
they're
for
not
it.
here.
Okay.
If they're taking summary, do we have to present the case?
Well, they're not here to
Oh,
sign
just say it.
anything,
Okay.
so.
All right, violation occurred August 21st, 2020 at 1:16 p.m. The vehicle was a 2015 white Ford bearing a Florida tag of Kilo Yankee Charlie Alpha 78. That's KYC A78. And the first still photograph that you see up there is the close-up of that Florida tag on a white Ford. Going to go to the second image. And again, up on top, it shows the location, northbound Bartow Road at North Crystal Lake. The light was yellow for 4.8 seconds and then red for an additional 0.5. The vehicle's speed was at 54. And we're going to go ahead and show the video. And we'll play it and then stop it when the light turns red. And there you can see the light's red and the vehicle is definitely behind the stop bar. Continue the video and he goes through the intersection. And one more time from the top. And that's all I have, sir.
So it's a straight through, and I'll take the officer's recommendation as a summary disposition due to the violator not being able to be here today. So that's a $158 fine. Are we doing the administrative fee on that, $12.50? Okay.
And if Madam Secretary could advise if we're missing anyone, no shows.
The next one I have is Hernandez.
What's the last name?
Hernandez, Melissa Hernandez. Melissa
Alice
Hernandez.
Hernandez.
Yeah.
So she's a no-show.
All right, violation occurred on February 16th, 2020 at 3:43 p.m. The vehicle was a 2020 white Kia bearing a Florida tag of Bravo India Hotel Yankee 12. That's BIHY12. And the first still photograph you see there is a close-up of that Florida tag. On the second still photograph, up in the header, it shows you the location, eastbound East Memorial Boulevard at Massachusetts Avenue. The light was yellow for 4.1 seconds, and then it was red for 2.5. The vehicle's approach speed was at 18 miles per hour. And we'll play the video. And the light's yellow, turns red, and vehicle rounds the corner, does not stop, and the approach speed is at 18.
18 is a little fast, and with no one here to argue, I'm going to uphold the violation, $158 statutory fine, $100 administrative fee payable within 30 days.
Hill.
Hill?
Hill.
Okay.
The Stephen, one underneath Hernandez.
He signed
Hezekiah?
summary. He
Yeah,
signed
he-
summary.
Oh, yeah.
We doing Hill next?
Yeah, Hill.
And the next case, his last name is Hill, case ending in 131521. Violation occurred on August 28th, 2020 at 11:35 p.m. The vehicle was a 2014 white Kia bearing a Florida tag of India, Juliet, Charlie, India 58. And as we go to the still photographs, the first one is a close-up of that tag. Go to the next still photograph, shows you the location, westbound East Memorial Boulevard at Massachusetts Avenue. The light was yellow for 4.1 seconds and then red for an additional 0.5. Also, the vehicle speed is at 47 miles an hour and the posted maximum speed limit is 35. We'll play the video. Light starts off green, turns yellow, and then red.
Yeah, this is a straight through. Especially with no one here, you almost actually hit the guy turning left. $158 fine, $100 administrative fee payable within 30 days.
Insight engineer?
And engineering?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I remember this name.
And the next case we're going to call, sir, is Insight Engineering, LLC, a case ending in 110012. All right, violation occurred on July 21st, 2020 at 12:34 a.m. The vehicle was attached to a trailer, homemade, bearing a Florida tag of 6746 Yankee November. And the first still photograph that we see up there is a close-up of that Florida tag. And we'll go to the next still photograph. Shows the intersection with northbound Bartow Road at North Crystal Lake. The light was yellow for 4.8 seconds and then red for an additional 1.3. The vehicle speed was 51 and the maximum posted speed limit is 45. We'll show the video. We'll play it and then stop it when it turns red. It's yellow right now. Turns red, and the vehicle's not even in view of the camera yet. We'll continue it, and you see him in the inside lane, the truck pulling the trailer. We'll play one more time all the way through.
Yeah, that looks straight through, going a little fast too. Definitely upheld, $158 fine, $100 administrative fee payable within 30 days.
Okay.
Taliver.
All right, sir, the next case we're going to go to, his last name is Taliver, Rahim, case ending in 111978.
Which one is it? It's,
Taliver.
did we skip Rodriguez, Urson Rodriguez?
He signed a summary.
He did, okay.
And what about John Polonis?
What's the
His
last name?
summary too.
Oh, he signed summary. I think that Attila, the one we heard that I marked summary, it was marked on the wrong one.
Okay.
So Taliver, did you say? Is that the one?
No, Taliver, we're gonna hear Taliver.
All right, sir, violation occurred July 24th, 2020 at 9:29 p.m. The vehicle was a 2016 Nissan, black in color, bearing a Florida tag of Echo Kilo Foxtrot Lima 11. And the first photograph you see there is a close-up of that Florida tag. And we'll go to the next still photograph, shows the intersection, southbound Slocum Loop at Old Cumbie Road. The light was yellow for 4.9 seconds, and then it was red for an additional 2.2. The vehicle speed was at 52 miles an hour, and it is a posted 40 mile an hour zone. And we'll go ahead and show the video, and we'll stop it when it turns red. Light starts off yellow, and there it's red, and again, the vehicle's not even in view of the camera yet. We're continuing the video, and the vehicle goes through the red light.
Straight through, violation upheld, $158 fine, $100 administrative fee payable within 30 days.
Watson. Right there.
Okay. All right, sir, the next case, last name is Watson, Thomas Andrew, case ending in 92954. Okay, violation occurred on June 23rd, 2020 at 6:37 a.m. The vehicle was a 2014 BMW, white in color, bearing a Florida tag of 9204 Papa uniform. And the first close-up still photo is a close-up of the Florida tag. And we'll go to the next still photo. Shows the location was southbound Cleveland Heights Boulevard at East Edgewood Drive. The light was yellow for 4.1 seconds and then red for an additional 0.4. The vehicle speed was at 15 miles per hour. We show the video. And this is going to be a left-hand turn violation. We'll continue it. Yeah, the light's red now. And we'll play it one more time all the way through.
turn, no discretion, violation upheld, $158 fine, $100 administrative fee payable within 30 days.
Williams.
The next case, last name is Williams, first name Leon, case ending in 129947. Okay, violation occurred August 26, 2020 at 7:13 p.m. The vehicle was a 2004 Dodge, silver in color, bearing a Florida tag of Bravo Tango Juliet, Quebec 90. That's BTJ Q90. The first photograph shows a close-up of that Florida tag. And then we'll go to the next still photograph. It shows the location being eastbound East Memorial Boulevard at Massachusetts Avenue. The light was yellow for 4.1 seconds and then red for an additional 0.6. The vehicle speed was at 41 and it's supposed to 35. Making sure we're on the same video. Yeah, oh, that was at the third still photograph. The first still photograph is going to show that the vehicle, the first still photograph shows the vehicle, the light was yellow for 4.1 and then red for 0.1. It was the third still photograph that showed it at 0.6. All right, we'll play the video. Light starts off green, then turns yellow, and then turns red.
This is straight through. Clear violation, $158 fine, $100 administrative fee payable within 30 days, and that is Williams, right, Leon?
Yes, that is correct. Is that the last one?
Yes. Mr. Summaries.
And I do believe that was the last one, sir.
Okay. So at this time, the following cases, the defendants or violators have elected summary disposition. That is a fine of $158, a $12.50 administrative fee, and they will have 60 days to pay. Start from the top. 6984 Allen Granville, 9039 Allen Lori, 1504 Allred Kristen, 0418 Anderson Emily. She has another one ending in 1199. 2776 Armstrong Danta, 5085 Baker Sharon, 7188 Baxter Trinity, 1943 Bellinger Deborah Lee, 0102 Bennett Inetta, 3568 Blake Janice, 9228 Blue LaQuandia, 6274 Branham Brandy, 0318 Brown Chernard, 4906 Brown Danielle, 2899 Brown Makisha, 5838 Brown Michael, 6927 Brown Tamber, 5364 Burton Latrice, 4582 Butler Charles, 1250 by George, 5861 Cavello Crystal, 6652 Carrillo Maria, 0655 Carol Laura, 8113 Castro Maria, 4665 Kazi Christopher, 1133 Senato Maria, 6554 Church William, 8734 Cobb Charles, 9565 Cofield Sheila, 0812 Connor Home Improvements. 2446 Caraval Ginger. She has 3 more. One ending in 7107, one ending in 1316, and one ending in 2876. 0564 Creighton Sammy. 2785 Crockett Dorothy. 7189 Davis Tracy. 4541 Denmark April. 6074 Dueling Darnell. 4434 Edwards Heather. 1066 Espina April. 1696 Fields Josie. 3619 Garrett Dawn. 9293 Garrett Dawn. 9005 Gendron Amanda. 5860 Gilliard Orsia. 5432 Grady Andrew. 4773 Grant Carroll. 7181 Hamilton Misty. 6273 Harris Brian. 1794 Harris Christina. 8402 Harris Tia. 5244 Hay Jacqueline. 5871 Hezekiah Stephen. 4228 Hicks Corey. 5037 Hills Raquel. 2322 Hillsgrove Catherine. 8503 Hollinger Clementine. 7130 Jackson Tanganita. 7854 Jacoby Cassandra. 6512 Giles Curtis. 2833 Johnson Tracy. She's got one more. 6504 0623 Jones Tanya. 9725 Jones L. 5530 Key Candace. 7387 Kilgore Bobby. 2080 Lamorter Jonathan. 6299 Larson Christine. 2677 Lawson Mickey. 5234 Lewis Erica. She has one more. 2306 0508 Lisbon Jaquila. 1325 Lopez Jamie. 6027 Lewis Rosalie. 9012 Maltese Robert. 5514 Martin Judith. 5133 Martinez Milagros. 79235 McNeil Lori. 3965 Merrick's Linden. 5226 Miller Cedry. 7446 Miller Kinji. 6100 Montgomery Patricia. 7388 Moultrie Keisha. 8619 Muñez Dyra. 2165 Netherly Tiffany. 9144 Nelson Dyron. 9062 Nelson Sharon. 8980 Ocasio Carrero Nelson. 1829 Owens Cora. 0401 Polonis John. 1050 Parker Shantora. 1281 1281 Puritan Lisa. 7551 Peterson Daniel. 5177 Petit Home. Arsene. 4905 Famatep Jessica. 8197 Quinones Jerry. 7750 Rents Leandra. 8346 Riley Shirley. 9708 Robertson Bernita. 2380 Roberts Jessica. 5969 Robinson April. 9889 Robinson Doris. 0571 Robinson Sherry. She's got two more, one ending in 3643, one ending in 7461. 5466 Rodriguez Urson. 9955 Rodriguez Nancy. 7041 Sanchez Ajoli. 3932 Sanders Tiara. 9384 Serrano Carey. 2488 Shanner Hotel Holdings. 4160 Sharp Jeremiah. He's got two more ending in 7594, one ending in 8915. 6505 Shaw Shannon. 1481 Schellenberg Chase. 2370 Cersei Ariel. 8742 Smith Bria. 4806, Smith Melanie. 3635, Smith Pamela. 2701, Stevens Kimberly. 5944, Stevenson Richard. 0820, Sumner Tracy. 1705, Taylor Sabrina. Annette Thomas has 2, wanting in 1321 and 8732. 2348, Thornton Deandra. 3833, Tillery Casey. 0712, Turner Ambracia. 2553, Walker Michael. 6737, Wallace Joy. 7975, Ware Ronisha. 2954, I'm sorry, scratch that. 2736, Webb Alexis. 8494, Wes Deshaughnessy. 0530, Williams Eric. 3152, Williams Tyrone. 5812, Winter Berta. 5946, Winch Beverly. And that concludes today's hearing.
Thank you.
That was a long one.
Yeah, that was long.
January.
North winds around 10 miles an hour, shifting to the northwest in the afternoon. Tonight, mostly clear. Lows in the upper 40s. West winds around 5 miles an hour, shifting to the south after midnight. Thursday, mostly sunny. Highs in the lower 70s. Southeast winds around 5 miles an hour, shifting to the northwest in the afternoon. Thursday night, mostly clear. Lows around 50. Light winds. Friday, sunny. Highs in the lower 70s. East winds around 5 miles an hour. Friday night, mostly clear in the evening, then becoming partly cloudy. Lows in the mid-50s. And now the extended forecast for the radio listening area. Saturday through Sunday, partly cloudy. Highs in the upper 70s. Lows in the lower 60s. Sunday, partly cloudy with a slight chance of showers. Lows around 60. Highs in the lower 70s. Chance of rain 20%. Monday night, mostly clear in the evening, then becoming partly cloudy. Lows in the lower 50s. Tuesday, mostly sunny. Highs in the upper 60s. Tide forecast. At St. Petersburg, low tide Wednesday at 3:21 a.m. High tide Wednesday at 9:08 a.m. Low tide Wednesday at 3:22 p.m. High tide Wednesday at 9:49 p.m. The current time is 10:47 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. These are the 10 a.m. observations for the local area on Wednesday, December 9th. At Tampa International, it was mostly sunny. The temperature was 55 degrees, the dew point 37, and the relative humidity 50%. The wind was north at 9 miles an hour. The pressure was 30.26 inches and rising. At St. Pete Clearwater Airport, it was sunny. The temperature was 54 degrees, the dew point 40, and the relative humidity 59%. The wind was north at 7 miles an hour. The pressure was 30.26 inches and rising. At downtown St. Petersburg, it was sunny. The temperature was 56 degrees, the dew point 44, and the relative humidity 64%. The wind was north at 10 miles an hour. The pressure was 30.24 inches and rising. At Lakeland, it was sunny. The temperature was 52 degrees, the dew point 37, and the relative humidity 58%. The wind was north at 3 miles an hour. The pressure was 30.26 inches and rising. Elsewhere around the region it was sunny, with a temperature of 55 at MacDill Air Force Base, 52 at Brooksville, 54 at Plant City Municipal Airport, 53 at Winter Haven, and 52 at Bardo. Under sunny skies, Kissimmee reported 52, Orlando reported 52, Punta Gorda reported 56, and Fort Myers reported 57. At Venice Municipal Airport, it was fair, with a temperature of 55. Marine reports along the coast and offshore buoys. At the Seaman site at Cedar Key, winds were north at 2 knots. Air temperature 49 degrees. At 100 miles west of Bayport, winds were northwest at 4 knots. Wave height 3 feet. Wave period 4 seconds. At 210 miles west of Captiva, winds were north at 8 knots. Sea temperature 77 degrees. Wave height 3 feet. Wave period 6 seconds. Your coastal waters forecast for the KHB 32 listening area for the following marine location, Tampa Bay waters. Issued at 10:20 a.m. This afternoon, north winds around 5 knots, then becoming northwest around 5 knots in the afternoon. Bay and inland waters smooth. Tonight, southwest winds around 5 knots, then becoming south towards morning. Bay and inland waters smooth. Thursday, southeast winds around 5 knots, then becoming northwest in the afternoon. Bay and inland waters smooth. Thursday night, north winds around 5 knots, then becoming east after midnight. Bay and inland waters smooth. Friday, east winds around 5 knots. Bay and inland waters smooth. Friday night, east winds around 5 knots, increasing to around 10 knots after midnight. Bay and inland waters a light chop. Saturday, southeast winds around 10 knots, then becoming east around 5 knots late in the afternoon. Bay and inland waters a light chop. Saturday night, southeast winds around 5 knots. Bay and inland waters smooth. Sunday, southeast winds around 5 knots, then becoming southwest around 10 knots in the afternoon. Bay and inland waters a light chop. Your coastal waters forecast for the KHB 32 listening area for the following marine location, coastal waters from Englewood to Tarpon Springs out 20 to 60 nautical miles. Issued at 10:20 a.m. This afternoon, northwest winds around 10 knots. Seas 2 to 3 feet. Tonight, northwest winds around 10 knots. Seas 2 feet. Thursday, northwest winds around 5 knots, then becoming northeast around 5 knots in the afternoon. Seas 2 feet. Thursday night, east winds around 5 knots, increasing to around 10 knots toward morning. Seas 2 feet or less. Friday, east winds around 10 knots. Seas 2 feet or less. Friday night, east winds around 10 knots. Seas 2 feet. Saturday, east winds around 10 knots. Seas 2 feet. Saturday night, southeast winds around 10 knots. Seas 2 feet. Sunday, south winds around 10 knots. Seas 2 feet. Your coastal waters forecast for the KHB 32 listening area for the following marine location, coastal waters from Englewood to Tarpon Springs out 20 nautical miles. Issued at 10:20 a.m. This afternoon, northwest winds around 10 knots. Seas 2 to 3 feet. Bay and inland waters a light chop. Tonight, northwest winds around 5 knots. Seas 2 feet. Bay and inland waters smooth. Thursday, north winds around 5 knots, then becoming east in the late morning and early afternoon, then becoming northeast late in the afternoon. Seas 2 feet or less. Bay and inland waters smooth. Thursday night, east winds around 5 knots increasing to around 10 knots toward morning. Seas 2 feet or less. Bay and inland waters a light chop. Friday, east winds around 10 knots. Seas 2 feet or less. Bay and inland waters a light chop. Friday night, east winds around 10 knots. Seas 2 feet or less. Bay and inland waters a light chop. Saturday, east winds around 10 knots. Seas 2 feet or less. Bay and inland waters a light chop. Saturday night, southeast winds around 10 knots. Seas 2 feet or less. Bay and inland waters a light chop. Sunday, south winds around 10 knots. Seas 2 feet or less. Bay and inland waters a light chop. Now for the official National Weather Service forecast issued 2 a.m. Wednesday, December 9th, 2020 for the KHB 32 listening area for the following counties in Florida: Hillsborough, Pasco, Pinellas, and Polk, including the cities of Newport Richey, Zephyr Hills, Clearwater, St. Petersburg, Brandon, and Tampa. Today, sunny. Highs in the mid-60s. North winds around 10 miles an hour, shifting to the northwest in the afternoon. Tonight, mostly clear. Lows in the upper 40s. West winds around 5 miles an hour, shifting to the south after midnight. Thursday, mostly sunny. Highs in the lower 70s. Southeast winds around 5 miles an hour, shifting to the northwest in the afternoon. Thursday night, mostly clear. Lows around 50. Light winds. Friday, sunny. Highs in the lower 70s. East winds around 5 miles an hour. Friday night, mostly clear in the evening, then becoming partly cloudy. Lows in the mid-50s. And now the extended forecast for the radio listening area. Saturday through Sunday, partly cloudy. Highs in the upper 70s. Lows in the lower 60s. Sunday, partly cloudy with a slight chance of showers. Lows around 60. Highs in the lower 70s. Chance of rain 20%. Monday night, mostly clear in the evening, then becoming partly cloudy. Lows in the lower 50s. Tuesday, mostly sunny. Highs in the upper 60s. Tide forecast. At St. Petersburg, low tide Wednesday at 3:21 a.m. High tide Wednesday at 9:08 a.m. Low tide Wednesday at 3:22 p.m. High tide Wednesday at 9:49 p.m. The current time is 10:55 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. These are the 10 a.m. observations for the local area on Wednesday, December 9th. At Tampa International, it was mostly sunny. The temperature was 55 degrees, the dew point 37, and the relative humidity 50%. The wind was north at 9 miles an hour. The pressure was 30.26 inches and rising. At St. Pete Clearwater Airport, it was sunny. The temperature was 54 degrees, the dew point 40, and the relative humidity 59%. The wind was north at 7 miles an hour. The pressure was 30.26 inches and rising. At downtown St. Petersburg, it was sunny. The temperature was 56 degrees, the dew point 44, and the relative humidity 64%. The wind was north at 10 miles an hour. The pressure was 30.24 inches and rising. At Lakeland, it was sunny. The temperature was 52 degrees, the dew point 37, and the relative humidity 58%. The wind was north at 3 miles an hour. The pressure was 30.26 inches and rising. Elsewhere around the region, it was sunny, with a temperature of 55 at MacDill Air Force Base, 52 at Brooksville, 54 at Plant City Municipal Airport, 53 at Winter Haven, and 52 at Bartow. Under sunny skies, Kissimmee reported 52, Orlando reported 52, Punta Gorda reported 56, and Fort Myers reported 57. At Venice Municipal Airport, it was fair, with a temperature of 55. Marine reports along the coast and offshore buoys. At the Seaman site at Cedar Key, winds were north at 2 knots. Air temperature 49 degrees. At 100 miles west of Bayport, winds were northwest at 4 knots. Wave height 3 feet. Wave period 4 seconds. at 210 miles west of Captiva. Winds were north at 8 knots. Sea temperature 77 degrees. Wave height 3 feet. Wave period 6 seconds. Your coastal waters forecast for the KHB 32 listening area for the following marine location, Tampa Bay waters. Issued at 10:20 a.m. This afternoon, north winds around 5 knots, then becoming northwest around 5 knots in the afternoon. Bay and inland waters smooth. Tonight, southwest winds around 5 knots, then becoming south towards morning. Bay and inland waters smooth. Thursday, southeast winds around 5 knots, then becoming northwest in the afternoon. Bay and inland waters smooth. Thursday night, north winds around 5 knots, then becoming east after midnight. Bay and inland waters smooth. Friday, east winds around 5 knots. Bay and inland waters smooth. Friday night, east winds around 5 knots, increasing to around 10 knots after midnight. Bay and inland waters a light chop. Saturday, southeast winds around 10 knots, then becoming east around 5 knots late in the afternoon. Bay and inland waters a light chop. Saturday night, southeast winds around 5 knots. Bay and inland waters smooth. Sunday, southeast winds around 5 knots, then be southwest around 10 knots in the afternoon. Bay and inland waters a light chop. Your coastal waters forecast for the KHB 32 listening area for the following marine location, coastal waters from Englewood to Tarpon Springs out 20 to 60 nautical miles. Issued at 10:20 a.m. This afternoon, northwest winds around 10 knots. Seas 2 to 3 feet. Tonight, northwest winds around 10 knots. Seas 2 feet. Thursday, northwest winds around 5 knots, then becoming northeast around 5 knots in the afternoon. Seas 2 feet. Thursday night, east winds around 5 knots, increasing to around 10 knots toward morning. Seas 2 feet or less. Friday, east winds around 10 knots.
And we will open our meeting. Every year we have the opportunity to have one of our superstar contributors give us an update on little things that people just don't appreciate many times, and that is our pooled investments update. So we have Jeff Stearns, City Lakeland Treasurer, who is going to do that for us today, and his talented skill set that he brings with him, which is beyond AV. Okay, there we go. Our pooled investments update.
Scaring me for a minute there.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you. As the mayor said, every year about this time we do an annual update on the pooled investment fund. This year we will do that as well, and I'll also talk just a little bit about the pension funds. So with that said, there are really 3 large sources of assets or financial assets that are related to the city. The single largest is the pension funds and the deferred comp fund. Between the general, police, fire, and deferred comp funds, that's over $1 billion at this point, or at the end of September, at the end of fiscal year 20. The pooled investment fund, which is mostly what we'll talk about today, is $546 million as of the end of the fiscal year. That includes most of the city's operating funds, reserve funds, Lakeland Electric, water and sewer, all the operations of the city generally. And then there's a small amount of money that's invested slightly differently for some of our long-term funds, such as the cemetery, survivors benefit, public improvement endowment fund. That's about $27 million in assets, so relatively small compared to the other two. This is just a table that kind of goes over that as well with some of the particulars. Just as you all know, the pension and retirement funds are administered by the pension boards, the 3 different pension boards that we have for police, fire, and the general plan. Those boards generally invest those monies through outside managers, and they do that on the basis of investment policies that each of those separate pension boards adopts. And those funds, given that they're long-term in nature, they invest. There's a slip in. They invest in a diversified set of assets, including equities most notably, because they're long-term, as well as bonds, real estate, and alternative investments as well. So we won't talk a lot about that one today. The miscellaneous funds are also long-term in nature. They're not pension assets, but they're long-term in nature. They're also invested in a diversified set of assets similar to the pension funds. They're invested under an investment policy that was adopted and approved by the Commission and administered by the Finance Department, but invested through outside managers. So that leaves the pooled investment fund, which is different. It has a different purpose. It's not for paying long-term pension benefits. It's not for some of these other long-term funds and reserve funds of the city. Its purpose is to provide liquidity and income for city operations. So it's invested differently. Managed by the Finance Department through an investment policy that the Commission has adopted. Most recently, I believe we updated it in September of 2019. And it is not invested in equities. It's only invested in cash equivalents, like bank deposits, money market funds, things of that nature, as well as short to intermediate term bonds. So what does that portfolio look like for the pooled investment fund? First, in terms of the pooled investment fund, how big is it? You can see how large it is and that it has grown. This is a chart that goes all the way back to fiscal year 2001. It's grown up to be $540 million, commensurate with the increase in the size of the operation of the city. The other thing to note about it is that during the course of the year, its size does not vary by that much. It's not like it goes up and down by $100 million. It has a range of less than $100 million from high to low. And that provides investment opportunities to invest out along the yield curve a bit because that asset base is very stable. And this is just the same graph looking at that stability over time. It has grown over time, as I mentioned, but also the highs and lows kind of bracket that growth. It does not swing wildly. So what is it invested in? This is how it's invested by kind of asset class. Cash equivalents at the end of the year, which is one of our lower points for cash equivalents, was about 17%. That's your basic liquidity of the fund at any given point in time, such that you don't have to sell the rest of the assets unless you want to. U.S. government guaranteed back debt, basically Ginnie Mae bonds, was about 2%. Federal agencies, another 18%. Municipal bonds, 6%. Corporate bonds, 17%. Commercial mortgage-backed securities, about 13%. And then asset-backed bonds, 27%. And if you have questions along the way, which I was remiss in saying at the beginning, please interrupt me and ask. So this is what that portfolio looks like by size. Obviously, cash equivalents, which are the money markets, the bank deposits, things of that nature. That was $78.4 million on September 30th. And then you can see all the other bond positions that were in the portfolio. The highest being about a $10 million position, and going on down from there, literally not including cash equivalents, 229 different bond positions. So the point, you can see the maximums and the minimums. The point here is that we're not loaded up on any one thing. Lots and lots and lots of smaller positions. This is a year-to-year comparison, and it shows you what we're invested in by rating. The current portfolio is on the right. Last year at this time is on the left. You can see it goes down from AAA assets to AA rated assets, single A rated assets, triple B rated assets, and other. And you can see that that's changed a lot during the course of the last year. And that's a direct result of what's going on with COVID. Lots and lots of positions have been downgraded to below triple B, and that's consistent with where we are in our portfolio. And that's likely to go back the other way once COVID starts to go away, but for the time being, that's what the rating composition of the portfolio looks like. This is mark-to-market. Mark-to-market, as you know, is a non-cash adjustment that we make to the financial statements at the end of the year. The difference between cost and market value of the assets. You can see where it was at the end of last year. It dropped significantly during the course of this year. Again, that's as a result of COVID. Asset classes such as asset backs, mortgage-backed securities, and some corporate debt, the market values have been depressed dramatically in the recent last 3 to 6 months. And we would expect that to start reversing itself, which it already has as we've moved into this fiscal year. It's already climbed back up by $10 million, but that's something that we're watching very, very carefully to make sure that it does bounce back. And that's kind of one of the advantages of what I talked about earlier in the portfolio, that most of these assets don't move, so we're not compelled to sell them when the numbers go down, and we can wait it out. And we're going to be watching this very closely as we move into fiscal year 21. So investment performance. That pooled investment fund earned about 3.87% during the course of the fiscal year. That's about $21 million in investment earnings that went back into the budget. Both those numbers are lower than last year, 1 full percentage point almost, and about $4 million below last year, but they're well above the index that we compare it to. So during the course of the year, a couple things happened. Number one is, as COVID hit, we made a conscious decision to move lots and lots of our assets into cash equivalents. And as you may all know, that short-term investment rates are very, very low. That was important to do for liquidity, not knowing what impact COVID was going to have on city operations ahead of time. Fortunately, not as dramatic as it could have been, but we wanted to make sure that we had lots and lots of liquidity just in case. But when you're in at cash equivalents, that means you earn less. So that's total pool earnings, the $21 million I talked to you about, still very healthy, not as good as last year, which was kind of a record year, but still a significant inflow and revenue source for the city budget each year. As I mentioned, that 3.87% that we earned is above the index that we compare ourselves to, an earnings index of 1.77%, so we were literally more than 2 full percentage points above that, but nevertheless lower than last year.
Jeff, what's your target that you're shooting for? What do you guys budget off of?
What do we budget off of? It depends. We're very conservative when we do the budget. I don't know what we budgeted last year or this year. 3.5.
Okay.
So we beat
So
it.
even at that, this year, you're still ahead because you budget conservatively. Thank you.
So this is just the long-term picture of how we've done on pooled investments. The green line is that earnings index that we compare ourselves to and that we want to beat. And the blue line is what we actually earn from year to year. And you can see we're well above that, but this year was lower than last year. Going back, if you subtract the difference to say how much were we above or below that index in any given year, you kind of get this chart. Blue is good, means we've exceeded the index and we've overperformed. The red would be that we underperformed. And so there was a period of time back in the early 2000s when we underperformed, but lately we've overperformed by a significant degree.
Jeff, quick question. What was the change from those years, from a trend of underperforming to?
We were in a very conservative government-only bond portfolio with very, very few positions, and we expanded the asset classes that we were allowed to invest in. Okay. And moved out of that. So one thing I mentioned to you is that, we earned less this year than we did last year. This is a chart of interest rates from the beginning of fiscal year 20 to the end of fiscal year 20. The blue line is the 30-year Treasury bond, the red line is the 10-year Treasury bond, and the green line is 1-month LIBOR, which is basically short-term interest rates. So you can see that they declined dramatically as COVID hit. They've remained at very low levels. A lot of that has to do with Federal Reserve Bank action, and we're expecting it to stay at the lower level, and the Fed is pledged to keep it that way for probably a couple years. One interesting thing to note is that at the beginning of this year, you could earn more by keeping your money in cash, which is the green line, than you could by buying a 10-year Treasury bond. Now that's reversed itself, but there was an inverted yield curve at the beginning of the year, and it didn't hurt you much to be in cash. It hurts you a lot now to be in cash, because literally cash rates are maybe 15 basis points, a little over 1/10.5 of a percentage point is what you earn with money that's in cash. And even if you want to buy the 10-year Treasury bond, you're at 70 basis points, 0.7 of 1 percentage point. So I mentioned that I wanted to do a little pension commercial. I showed you what the assets look like for the pension funds and the deferred comp funds for our retirees and our employees when they retire. This is a chart of the S&P 500 during the course of the fiscal year. When we began the fiscal year, and remembering that the pension funds are at least 60% of their assets are generally in equities and other things that often move with equities. And during the beginning of the fiscal year, everything looked great. The stock market was going up. Then come February into March, as you all know, the stock market collapsed. At that point, because I sit on the general plan pension board as well, we were sitting looking at the numbers and wondering how low they were going to go. We were running scenarios to say, hey, what if we're down 15% for the year? What's that going to mean for city and employee contributions next year when it catches up to us? And our most optimistic case was a 0% return. Well, obviously, the numbers bounced back dramatically, and all three pension funds exceeded their actuarial required rates of return of 7.25% and 7.5%. So we ended the year in a good place, and certainly much better than we thought we were going to end it in the middle of the year when we were looking at the numbers. But I wanted to remind you of something that we did last year. You'll remember we came to you as a city commission in November and December and asked for permission to issue pension liability reduction notes that we issued to the market to generate proceeds to deposit in the pension funds. You gave us permission to do that. We went ahead and did it. We issued those notes in early March of 2020, coincidentally, just as the market was crashing dramatically. We actually sent those proceeds to the three pension funds on April 1st of 2020. And the amount that each one got was basically benchmarked to be about half the unfunded liability of each pension fund. And you can see the amounts that were transferred. So now fast forward, the timing was very lucky and fortuitous. The pension funds invested those monies shortly thereafter, and from that, when they got the money in April till the end of the fiscal year 2020, they earned about 24% on that money, because that caught the upswing in the market. And that actually contributed somewhere, depending on which pension fund you're looking at, between 1 and 3 full percentage points of their annual return.
That's some mighty good timing, sir.
Yeah.
Sometimes it pays to be lucky. It often pays to be lucky. And then the last thing to note is that if you recall, by virtue of borrowing at a relatively low rate of 2.45% and avoiding paying in our unfunded liability payments over time at a much higher rate, we're able to save some money in the budget each year, about $1.8 million per year, about $1 million to the city and $800,000 to the employees in the form of reduced contributions that have to go into the fund. So as we struggle with the budget, that's obviously helped as well as the nice return we were able to get. And that's
excellent work. Commissioner Walker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Stearns. I know for the number of years I've sat here and hear your pretty much review of how well we do or do not do. I'm really, I guess, somewhat surprised to know that how well we did, depending on the COVID pandemic that we had to deal with. But I was away the latter part of the week attending board and trustee meetings for FLC, and in them giving us a report as you're doing with us today. Share with us how we did not do well, but we did very well. That particular organization, as well as here in our city, doing well as we did, considering COVID-19 pandemic. And I was just surprised, to see how, the returns on investment and things that we thought we may have not seen to be as well, did very well. Both when I heard the report latter part of the week last week from that group, and hearing you now before saying the same kind of a thing. What do you attribute that kind of thing to? Is it because of things we have already in motion, and even though the market fell in some respect, or what?
Well, I think one of the things I tried to point out was that because of the nature of this fund and the stability of the assets, we don't need to panic. We can ride things out. We don't have to do panicked selling so that we can pay our bills next week. We have a ton of liquidity in the fund. We have more liquidity if we do need to sell things, but we're not forced to sell things. And that's a huge advantage.
And that was one of the things that I think the investors was telling us, let it ride out. Ride it out, because if you let it ride out and the things that are already in place, we should see, the return being, hopefully like we see here now.
For the pension funds, you can just imagine if you had to have liquidated your assets to pay pension benefits back in February or March. You would have taken an enormous bath on assets.
Yes.
But then you fast forward, no more than 4 to 6 months later, and they've not only have they recovered what they lost, but made a healthy return to boot. That's the advantage of having long-term funds and having funds that have liquidity that are not required to sell.
Thank you.
You ended the year at 17% cash equivalents.
Yes.
What was your maximum percentage mid-year that gave you some flexibility?
I'd have to go back to look at
Roughly.
the maximum, but roughly, if you looked at that number like 5 days earlier, one of the things that we do in the city is that we make our principal payments on all our debt on October 1st. That means you send a whole bunch of money to your trustees who pay the debt on your behalf 3 to 5 days beforehand. So 3 to 5 days before that 17% that I showed you, that number was not 78 million, it was over 100 million. And we were in the 24 to 25% range.
Other comments or questions?
Just a comment, they always say it's better lucky than good. I say best is lucky and good, so.
Yeah, which is exactly what you do.
Yeah.
We're blessed.
And we thank you.
We're blessed. We just don't know how blessed we are sometimes.
Any other comments? Thank you very much for what's anticipated annually to be a robust report, and we really appreciate the work behind it.
All right, thank you.
All right, next we are going to celebrate wonderful accomplishment, and especially in light of 2020, where we are reminded again how important accreditation in law enforcement is in the many, many years that our police department has been so. And so Chief Ruben Garcia is going to come up and talk about the Reaccreditation Award from the Commission on Accreditation for Law Enforcement Agencies. Chief Garcia? And crew? Sorry.
Broad enough to carry the plaques back. So. Well, good afternoon. We wanted to come by today and let you know that we have received reaccreditation in both our law enforcement functions as well as our communications center. As you probably know, the communications center has to answer to over 200 different sites that they have to prove compliance in, and law enforcement has over 460 other compliance sites they have to prove that throughout the year we measured up to those standards. So this is the team that kind of marshals that along throughout the year, starting with Assistant Chief Lehman, Lieutenant Thompson, Sergeant Strong, Mrs. Donato, and Mrs. Allison. And this is kind of a fluid thing that goes throughout the year. This is very a fluid body. CLEA is throughout the year. Policy continues to change, and these folks are charged with one of their many duties, that duty being keeping up with those policies and making sure we adjust and change to those as we see changing times throughout the country. So again, we just wanted to have an opportunity to come over and let you know that both sections has been reaccredited, and we'll be pushing forward to the next 4-year test when they come back around.
All right.
Can we get you?
Take a picture. Don't even think you're
Gotta
going to
get
go
a
that
picture
quick. He's off.
All right.
Next, we'll move to the Beautification Awards, and Connie, Bill is going to do this for us, and so we'll start with residential and then go to commercial.
Looks like the residential is the first up today. I don't know if you've seen this house. It's located at 1206 East Edgewood Street Drive, and it was recently renovated professionally, and it looks really, really good at 1206 East Edgewood Drive. Lots of color, containerized plants, all that, and the owners of the house are Shane and Cindy Willis. I don't know if they're here today.
The Willis is here.
I don't see Shane.
We'll get it to them.
I'll make sure they get a copy of this, and I'll put a sign on the door on my way home. I live like 2 blocks from the place.
How convenient.
Okay, the second one we have here is the, what happened at the Plantation Square Publix about a year and a half ago. They expanded the store and really modernized it, and at that point the landscape was fully renovated too professionally, perfectly maintained, as you can see, beautiful trees. It's a great job and a real benefit to our community, as Publix is anyway. We certainly thank them for all of the financial help they give to our Parks and Rec projects too. So I particularly like the silver buttonwood shrubs there. They're gorgeous native plants. So is there anyone here to receive this award today?
All right, and the silver buttonwood plants would be which ones?
You don't see them in this picture. They're a beautiful silver shrub that's native to Florida, and it's really striking out there.
Thank you.
Just a really great job here. So we got a picture here.
Wonderful, we got a team. Thank you, Bill. Appreciate that. There are no proclamations today, and that takes us to the committee reports and related items, and we'll begin with municipal boards and committees. Chairman Madden will take that as our commissioner representative.
Thank you, Mayor. The Municipal Boards Committee met via GoToMeeting. Stephanie Madden, Chair, and Mayor Bill Mutz, Commissioner Sarah McCarley were present, along with Commissioners Bill Reed, Chad McLeod, and staff. The meeting was called to order at 8:25 a.m., and the purpose of the meeting was to receive and act upon the following recommendations. For the Zoning Board of Adjustment and Appeals, there was a recommendation from Matthew Lyons to appoint Tanisha Mayweather and Zach Miller to 3-year terms as regular members beginning December 1st, 2020 and ending November 30th, 2023. And another recommendation from Matthew Lyons, appointment Patterson to a 3-year term as an alternate beginning December 1, 2020, ending November 30th, 2023. Action was taken by Sarah McCarley, who made the motion. Bill Metz seconded the motion, and it carried unanimously. The committee discussed the role of an alternate and the appreciation of new people volunteering to serve. So all 3 of those members are new, and we were excited to have their applications and their interest. The other 2 recommendations, first is the Fire Pension Board recommendation from Sean Scharouse to reappoint Kyle Davis and Christopher Hammond to 4-year terms beginning December 17th, 2020 and ending December 16th, 2024. And the Housing Authority Board recommendation from Mayor Bill Metz to appoint Don Brown to a 4-year term beginning December 3rd, 2020 and ending December 2nd, 2024. Mayor Bill Metz moved to approve the appointments